live and just hit the button. Good morning, everybody. I'm Pat Knauer. I am your business coach, and I am here with my co-host,
Barbara Lynette Ellison, and I am your personality pro because personality drives reality. So good morning, good morning, good morning.
And we are here with our good friend and amazing colleague, Lynette Wagner. Good morning, Lynette.
Good morning.
So last week we talked about Barb's foot warmer. If you happened to listen to the show last week and you heard about Barb's foot warmer, Barb has an update on her foot warmer for this week.
My foot warmer. I love my foot warmer. And you know what? And if you're still looking for ways to spend your gift cards or something on it, ladies, go buy yourself a foot warmer. It is absolutely amazing. Love it. But this morning, right at this moment, my feet are not cold, so I don't have my feet in it. Well, all of a sudden, I looked over just before the show started. My foot warmer was moving. What? Why is my foot warmer moving? Well, the Chihuahua also likes my foot warmer. She has now totally crawled inside my foot warmer, and all I could see was the foot warmer moving out of the corner of my eye.
And Jen,
so everybody loves the foot warmer.
I think it's hers now.
And gents, we're not discriminating against you. If your feet are cold, get a foot warmer too.
Get a foot warmer.
Yes.
And there's, but do your research. Do your research. I looked at several that you had to have your individual feet in. That was all, and just the material. I bought the one that I could just slip my feet into, has all in one space. So it looks like just an electric blanket folded in half, but it's all nice and plush. Love it. So
is it soft all the way around, or does it have like a more solid base?
No, it's soft all around. So that's why I got that one, is because I want to be able to put it in my bed. So I put it in my bed at night, but I can also, so what I did, I put it in a pillowcase. And so like if I wanted to put it, I could put like a layer of, that's a good idea. Thanks, Pat. I might do that, is get a little piece of foam and put it between the pillowcase and the foot warmer for when I am sitting at my desk or when I'm sitting at my chair. But I like the softness of it when I get into bed at night. Oh, it's so nice to get in. I have toasty warm feet. Yes.
Well, thank you for the update. I really appreciate that.
It was just out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh brother, foot warmer. Anyway, so let's talk.
Yeah, Lynette, have you done anything interesting for yourself recently?
I've missed what? Have
you done anything interesting or got anything interesting for yourself recently?
Have I got anything interesting? I have made something interesting, but I don't think I've gotten anything interesting. No.
That was interesting how you got it. So tell us about what you just did.
What I just did. I just this last couple of months, I've been working on a fairy house. I started making it for my granddaughters, and it just took on a life of its own, and it was so much fun to make. And I've got it right here behind me to share.
Wow.
And it was great fun. I just it like pulled together these aspects that I enjoy and that I hadn't necessarily been enjoying since I was a kid. And it's like this combination of miniatures and nature and creativity, and I just was in my bliss working on this, and also in the process, I thought, I was remembering how my mom and I made doll houses together and how much fun that was. And I thought, my granddaughters are 6 and 7, and I thought, if I just give them the doll house, they're going to miss out on all the fun of creating the doll house. And so I'm actually not going to give them this one. But the last time I visited with them, I was talking to them about it and showing them pictures. and we started collecting things to make one. And so I think that is going to be a much more meaningful gift, is something that we do together, and we'll make our fairy house together. Yeah. Super fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and spending the time with them. And you know what just came to mind as you said that? Isn't that so often and it hit me, I think, because I tend to think that I have to do things on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And that really struck me because, now I'm having to learn that, you know what, it's better to do it as a community. Let's all do this together.
Right.
And that can be in our businesses and in this fun thing. Now, that sounds like something my granddaughters would love to do. I'll have to pick your brain about a fairy house. But it just really struck me that, gee, Barbara, that's exactly right. Why would you do it on your own? So, yeah.
Everything in life, really. We're meant to be a community. We're not meant to do everything on our own. We're meant to interact with other people. That's why we're here on planet Earth, to interact with other people, right? So,
and yet, don't you think we're brought up to be independent? Just pick yourself, like if something goes wrong, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get going again. Don't. And I know I was brought up that way. Just come on, you can do it. Just get your bones in gear and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So so tell us about how the fairy house started. Where did it come from? Because you created an entire philosophy around this fairy house now.
Well, it started years ago in a movie. I saw this. It was like a doll house that was a giant mushroom, and fairies lived in it. And I just was enamored with that. The idea of something natural being a dollhouse. And so I wanted to do that. I wanted to make a fairy house using all natural materials. And it had been on my mind for a long time, years. And I was looking for wood and trying to find just the right wood. And I'd find something I thought would work, and then I couldn't retrieve it or whatever. And then this year, see this stump on my friend's property, and I thought, it's perfect. I could just imagine fairies living in this stump, that was the beginning of it. But I think the shared lesson in that, it has to do with, I think, when something's on your mind, there's a reason it's on your mind. And this was on my mind and on my mind and on my mind. And I thought, that's saying something. That's saying do something with this idea. And then when I started doing it, it just blossomed into something tremendous. So that's part of it. Part of that is that paying attention when we have ideas, when we have energy pulling us in a certain direction, to use it and pay attention to it. I think it's significant. And that's something I learned in training about communication. And when to say something, how to say something, what to do. What's the right thing is to go where the energy is, rather than forcing where there isn't energy. Go where the energy is, and that has proven to be life-serving. Yeah,
that's amazing. One of the things I just realized is we never even talked about your bio. I know, right? Because as you were talking about it, you've got an experience, or your past, you worked as an engineer. Yes, so you were working with energy, and you were working with mechanics and all of that. So tell us about the correlation.
I had a 30-year career as an industrial engineer and a management analyst.
Wow.
And did a lot of interviews with people to understand what their processes were, and be able to ask the right questions and follow the trail and dig in deep. and then write it up so that other people can, an outsider can read it and understand how it is. And a big part of that, the reason for doing that, and this kind of connects to what I moved into after that career, was breaking things down, getting rid of the clutter, and then putting it back together again in something that's going to work even better. And so when I left that management analyst career, I started my own business as a professional organizer, which is, again, back to what I was saying, the fairy house, pulling things together from my childhood. So is this being an organizer. I was the kind of kid who actually liked a neat, tidy room. And when I would clean my room, I wouldn't just pick up and put stuff away. I would haul everything out, take it all out, reorganize it, put it back again. And I enjoyed it. That was fun for me. So I've always been that kind of person. And now I help people who are feeling overwhelmed. It could be that they're overwhelmed with their physical things. It could be they're overwhelmed with emotions and what's going on in their head, heavy stuff. And so this organizer thing is not just about your stuff and how to make things neat and tidy. It really is about clarity of what is clutter, what's not working, what's draining energy, and then what to do with that, how to let it go, where to put it, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, let's face it. I mean, people who are dealing with clutter, there's something going on in the background. And clutter is the physical manifestation of what's going on in the background. Right?
Yeah.
So how do you work with that? Because you work with clients, not just locally, you also work with clients around the world. So
I do.
Yeah.
And I have clients now that I support over the telephone. I think that the thing with clutter is, first of all, it could be that it's something that it used to serve you. It used to work for you, and it was appropriate. There's a reason it worked. But things change, we grow, we change, what we need changes. And so it could be that we're holding on to an old strategy, we're holding on to an old thing because we've had it for so long, we're not recognizing that it's no longer serving, to the point that it may in fact be draining and getting in the way of things that could be serving us much better. So part of it is identifying that clutter, and then letting it go, releasing it. Yeah.
It's so funny that you're saying that's not funny. It's just it clicks in my brain. Is that so? Because that's organizing is something that I'm working on for myself. But years ago, before I got into personal development and just understanding why I do things, I can remember being in the proverbial loop that my house was a mess. My house was a mess because I was depressed, and I was depressed because my house was a mess. And I can remember being in that cycle because it wasn't had anything to do with the fact that I wasn't house cleaning my house, but something else was going on. And now I can look back on those times when I was in in that loop. And I think everybody can identify with that loop sometimes in some area of their life. They're this because of this, and they're this because of this. And it's all in the same loop. It's that, I always called it the mental loop of stress. And yet back then, I didn't recognize it as stress. I was unhappy, and it was with my first husband, and it was just, we had some major issues. And I look back now, but it's so that you just triggered that, and that's exactly, and now I'm much more organized.
And sometimes
more organized.
it is, and like we were talking about earlier, actually, I think it was before the show, we were talking about how powerful it can be to do a process with someone versus
Right.
by yourself. It can be something that you can do by yourself. And maybe you think, maybe you're shoulding yourself, I should do this by myself. But there are times when having that synergy, having that joint energy in a process is so supportive, and both people are served by it. So there can be times where to get out of that loop, having someone else with you, supporting you,
Right.
giving you, having the benefit of their energy is helpful.
Right.
And there can be practices that can help you to shift. And all it takes is a slight shift to lead to more and more shift.
Right.
And it's just, what's that next thing that's going to open things up a little bit? And then what's the next thing that's going to open it up a little bit more?
Right.
And you're able to keep going. And it comes in layers, even for myself.
Right.
I don't think it's something that ever ends. There's always another level, another layer. After, I think, 3 weeks of working with clients in another state, and it was just go, 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 and dealing with an abundance of clutter and a lot of work for 3 weeks. And I thought when I came home, I would just be ready to not do that, but quite the opposite. I came home and I was so inspired. It was like, I'm going to go through all my stuff. And so I did another iteration. I took it to a whole nother level. I was ready to switch some things up, get certain visual spots in my own space more open, more clear, and it was powerful. It was powerful where I can walk into a space and I can feel the energy support and feel the change. And because I've been doing it for a while, the next iteration didn't take nearly as long as the first iteration did a few years ago.
Yeah. And we've all heard that, I don't know if we've all heard it, but there's an old saying that says environment is stronger than willpower. And you may have the intent, somebody may have the intention of going and cleaning out their house and, decluttering and all that stuff. But when the emotions are running in the background, the environment kind of pulls them right back into it. So how do you deal with people and their emotions to get them out of the emotional pull to number one, reclutter their house, because the stuff that's going on in the background isn't dealt with yet?
Yeah. I have been a student of compassionate communication for close to a decade now. And I think that has served me a lot in that regard. I think that when I'm working with someone, I offer empathy. It's not about forcing or shoulding. It's about being with, what's going on, what's coming up, and processing it. And I think that supports, it's a gentle and effective support. As an example, I was helping a woman and her husband. He was a retired handyman, and now he's disabled, and his life will never be the same. And there's a lot of grieving and letting go going on.
Right.
And he's got a workshop full of tools and equipment. And so we were going through that, and I would bring things in the house and sit by his chair, and what is this? And he would hold it, and he would talk about it, and he would connect, and then he would have that clarity to say, this is what I want done with this. This is trash, or, oh, I want to keep this, or I want to give this to so-and-so, or we could sell this. And so we're categorizing things and just piece by piece, but in that he's processing and getting clarity and letting go, and those emotions are coming up. And it's about bearing witness and being with and offering that energetic support, and talking about whatever needs to be talked about.
It's really nice.
Does that make sense?
It does. And I get a feeling that the fairy house philosophy ties into that. Am I right?
It does. Things that I had as I was making it, I think for me, it was a way to, I told people, I said, I'm just in my bliss working on this house. But I think the fact that I was meant that I was very self-connected while I was working on it. Right. And when we find those activities, those processes or practices that support us in that self-connection, where we're creative or we're just in our bliss or whatever it is, we're really jazzed, we get those aha moments of clarity. And as I'm working on the house, and it started even at the beginning when I had this stump, and it's an old stump, which makes it awesome, but also makes it, potentially delicate. And so, so my friend had said, as I'm putting it in the car, he said, now, it might break a little bit. It's not going to be the same, but it'll be okay. And I appreciated that reminder. It's something that's come up for me before, is the importance of holding things lightly. And so when something changes or it doesn't go the way you planned, if you're in the mode of holding it lightly, then it's just a gentler process, because we know things are going to change and things are not going to go exactly as planned. And we hold it that way. We hold it with that understanding. We hold it lightly. We're still holding it. We're carrying it along, and things are going to happen, and that's okay. And that's exactly what happened. Something in the garage fell on that stump and part of it broke off. And as soon as it happened, I just was like, that's okay. And, it's a little thing. But that's another thing about, I think, I remind myself about how life works. Things that are true for the little things are true for the big things, right, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because don't you think
little lessons that are easier to learn and easier to take, right, and remember them when we're in the bigger situations.
Right, because that just struck me, is that I think sometimes what happens to people, I know some of the people that I work with, is that they're so focused on keeping just keeping everything right, that when something does happen to change, it just totally throws them off, because they've been so rigid in their stance of, well, this is how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
This is what my life is supposed to be. And when they get thrown for a loop, they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah, so, it happens in business too. In fact, a lot of businesses go down.
That happens in businesses. They fall apart.
They're so rigid in the way that they're living. And let's face it, business is just a tool for life. So what you're doing, Lynette, is so valuable for people, because they can learn to hold lightly and move along through the little flexibility areas of life, where things are not always going to go right, because things never go right. Let's face it, not as you plan. And that's the way it's supposed to be. If you're living in the real present moment, things just kind of come and miracles happen. Where if you are stuck in rigidity, you don't have that flow of energy that goes out. So here you are now stuck here. So the fairy philosophy really is right on target for the way that energy works in our planet.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's about being responsive rather than reactive. It's like, oh, this happened. Okay. Now, what am I going to do? Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
So do you help
and
people
to let it go of some of the results, let go of some of the it's like, okay, well, that didn't work. Okay, let it go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I had mentioned the compassionate communication earlier, and one of the lessons with that is not being attached to the outcome.
right.
When what we're going for is connection with someone, or even connection with ourselves, it's about that connection, and it's not about a particular outcome. So if we're not attached to what that's going to look like or feel like, we are set up for success with having connection.
Very, very, very nice. Yeah.
Exactly.
So do you help people build fairy houses?
Well, this is the first one I've made, and I have a friend who's asked me to make one for him, and I intend to do this. Yeah, I intend to do this as another thing that I offer, because I think it's a delightful opportunity for self-connection and creative expression, and it's just fun. It's ridiculously fun. And I also want to offer it as something that adults and children can do together. So I want to work on what that's going to look like. That would be age appropriate for different age levels. But I think it's a great opportunity for learning and fun and personal growth. Yeah, it's fun. I gotta show you at least a little bit of this to see, so you can see.
Definitely. I was going to ask about what goes into a fairy house.
Hopefully you can see that. So this is a little fairy chair, and what I love about it, one of the many things I love about it is it's unexpected, and it's so imperfect. And it's so, to me, it's just beautiful. And it's.
Where do you find a fairy chair?
Where do you find a fairy chair? You have to.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, this particular one, right? It's sticks and little tendrils off a grapevine and some moss and bark, and it just becomes something sweet. And yeah, here it is with the fairy sitting in it.
Oh, and where do you find the fairy?
Oh, well.
I bought these fairies at Michael's. Yeah, okay. So I made the furniture to be scaled to the fairies. As you can see, it's a small scale, like a half an inch is a foot. So it's a little smaller than your traditional dollhouse scale. But yeah, super sweet.
So what other components?
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, what other components go into building a fairy house? I know you have to have a piece of wood, a log or something, right?
Yeah, well, not necessarily. That was what I liked. I liked having it be that unusual. It was something. It just sparked my imagination, and I think for me that was the draw, was that it sparked my imagination, and I had this vision for it. And then as I worked on it, the vision just exploded, and it far exceeded what I had initially envisioned. So I think it's when I'm out now, whenever I'm out in nature, I'm constantly collecting, because I'm just seeing more and more, the things that are interesting shapes and textures, and I'm enjoying that aspect of it. Yeah. I don't know if I'm hitting the mark on your question there.
No, you are, absolutely. So if somebody doesn't want to have a piece of a log, what else could they use?
Well, I mean, if you wanted something, I would say to make it to make it, I guess, structured. You could even start with a box out of a pancake mix box or an oatmeal cylinder box, and cut a little door and cut little windows in it. I thought about doing this like with the little girls, and then attaching your sticks and bark to that, and using sticks and bark to make a little roof, and something like that. You could even just, set it outside in your yard under a tree or under a bush, and have little stepping stones that approach to your little fairy house, and it just sparks the imagination, doesn't it?
It really does. It's got my mind going. How about you, Barb?
Yeah, I was just thinking. It was like, yeah, I could. I mean, yeah, like, cause like I like to. We all especially when the kids were little, when they were smaller. I mean, we used to go on adventures, and we would go around and see what we could find. And like I live out in the country, and one day we went out into the cornfield, and to feel all the different textures on just a stalk of corn.
Yeah.
Like corn is very rough and it's prickly, but the top of it is very gooey and sticky. So all within just one stalk of corn, there's all these different textures and feels, and they just loved it. And the things that live in cornfield, and the animals and stuff that live in a cornfield. So yeah, it just really can spark your imagination of all the things that you can do. Right.
And I mean, I know when I was with my granddaughters, they really embraced that. They were running around the yard, picking up things and saying, "Oh, look at this, Granny. This could be this, and this could be that. And doesn't this look like what a fairy would use for this?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's great."
Yeah.
Well, I see a fairy house workshop in your future.
I think,
I do too.
Where, people bring their stuff together and you get everybody online and they build the fairy house together, and it's community, and it's, self-improvement, and it's some coaching thrown in along the way.
Opening up that creativity and having fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and getting your own little aha moments while you're in that space.
Yeah.
So I wrote up just a short little thing where I described 3 of those aha moments that I had when I was working on the house. There's more, but I wrote up 3 of them and included some pictures. So if any of the folks watching or listening would like to receive that, I'll put in the chat my email, and you can send me, just let me know you would like to have that clarity gift, and I will send it to you.
And if somebody wants to talk to you about decluttering and organizing, how do they reach you?
It would be to send me an email, and I'll put that in the chat. That would be the best way. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, I would love that.
And what are you most excited about right now?
I am most excited about the fairy houses in my future. I have turned my garage into a fairy house workshop, and I'm in the middle of making a beach fairy house now, which is super cute, and it's even going to include a little surfboard. And I think fairy house workshops and more fun with that, and making them with my granddaughters. Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about.
So good. Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
So if people were to take one thing away from all the bank of work that you do, because you do so much with people, it's amazing. Lynette is one of those people that if there is, Adrian, I'm glad you really love this. I think it's fabulous too, right? But Lynette does, her total bank of work is really supporting people in their lives and getting them to move out of getting unstuck into something much greater in life, and getting real clarity on life. So if you could give just 1 or 2 tips about how to get unstuck and move forward, what would you give?
I would say to get unstuck, one tip is to change your state. And that could be that you put on some music that you like, or you exercise, or you go for a walk, you get out in nature. But when you're recognizing you're stuck, to intentionally do something to change your state. And I think I think the other tip would be to reach out to someone where you can receive some empathy. I think an empathy exchange, an empathy conversation, and that means that you're able to share what's going on, what's up for you, what's feeling stuck, and that person is someone that you know can support you. They're able to listen without judgment, accept you as you are, reflect what they're hearing, and in that empathy exchange, what you're feeling and needing will come up, clarity will come up, shift will happen. That's the kind of thing I do when I'm coaching and I'm supporting people. And it's a practice that I have with my friends, and it has made the biggest difference in my life. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Lynette, thank you so much for being here today. This was just so amazing. Just so amazing. Wouldn't you think? Don't you think, Barb?
Oh, yeah. Just gave me some really good ideas. Especially now, because people are stuck or feeling stuck. And this would be a great to take on something that's more creative, that's maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone. And yet one of the things that I really liked that you said close to the beginning was that if it's been niggling in the back, if something has been niggling in the back of your mind, take action, go do it. Because something is there it's like wanting you to do it. So even if you just take one little step towards it, because then when you take that first step, like exactly what you said before, it opens up the next step.
Right.
And then the next step, and then the next step.
And then you can make it bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
It takes on a life of its own.
And hold things lightly. That was my big takeaway, of course, is to hold things lightly.
Hold things lightly.
Don't get wrapped up. Yeah. That's a big deal. Yeah.
And I think for me, one of my things for this year is so many people have either feel that they have fallen apart and have gotten nothing done, or they've gone in a wrong direction. And I think for me, 2020 has been such a year of, roller coaster, up, down, scary, exhilarating, and every word in between. But if there has been something that you felt you should have done, that you're shooting on yourself, that you should have done that you haven't done, fess up to it, let it go, and then go on, because you know what? 2021 is going to be the start of a new decade. So let's let go of 2020. Okay, it was a tough year, but 2021, a new horizon. So that's my little thing. New horizon.
And I like to say that every day is a new start. January 1 is for our tax year. It's not for your life. You can start the next year of your life any day. It doesn't have to be on January 1st. So as we move into this next year, today we're coming to the end of the year. It's December 30th. And as we are coming to the end of this year, if you want to make today your January 1st, do it. Start building your fairy house. Start decluttering your house. Get some help from Lynette or somebody who can help you to get unstuck from where you are. And don't let your environment be the thing that keeps you stuck. There are ways beyond it so that you can, certainly move your life in a whole different direction, or even just one step at a time, Barbara said. So, Lynette, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Barb. It was fun.
Oh, you're welcome. This was fun. This was fun.
Yeah. What's your last words, Lynette?
My last words, to have a great new year, a great day, and I hope everyone will send me an email so I can send you my gift, my clarity gift, and I'd love to hear from you.
Love it. All right. Have a good day, everybody, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.